Welcome to the Life and Times of podcast. I'm your host, Blotchke. Today, we turn the spotlight on the life and times of a woman whose wit, charm, and talent span decades. Betty White. She wasn't just an actress, she was a pioneer, breaking barriers in television and setting records along the way. From her early days in radio to becoming the beloved First Lady of television, Betty White's career was nothing short of legendary. Betty Marion White was born on January 17, 1922, in Oak Park, Illinois. When she was just a year old, her family moved to Los Angeles, where she grew up with a deep love for animals and the great outdoors. As a child, Betty dreamed of becoming a forest ranger, but at the time, women weren't allowed to be in the profession. Instead, she found another passion: entertainment. She attended Beverly Hills High School, where she discovered her love for performing. Inspired by legends like Jeanette MacDonald, Betty pursued acting and writing, even penning and starring in her own school plays. After graduation in 1939, she put her ambitions on hold when World War II broke out. She joined the American Women's Voluntary Services, helping with supplies and morale for troops stationed in the U.S. During the war, Betty White drove a PX truck, delivering supplies to military bases, a little-known chapter of her life that showcased her patriotism and dedication. After the war, Betty White wasted no time diving into Hollywood. She started in radio, working as a host and performer on various programs, eventually landing her own show, The Betty White Show, but it was television that would make her a household name. In 1949, she co-hosted Hollywood on Television alongside Al Jarvis, where she honed her improvisational skills, sometimes speaking on air for 5.5 hours a day. Her charisma and quick wit made her a standout, and soon she became one of the first women in television to have creative control over her own productions. Betty White became one of the first female producers in Hollywood with her sitcom Life with Elizabeth, where she played a mischievous housewife who constantly outsmarted her husband. It was groundbreaking, as few women had such control in the industry at the time. Betty's career flourished through the 1960s and 70s, but it was her role as the flirtatious, sharp-witted Sue Ann Nivens on The Mary Tyler Moore Show that catapulted her into superstardom. Playing a seemingly sweet homemaker with a biting edge, Betty showcased her comedic brilliance, earning 2 Emmy Awards for the role. But if there's one role that cemented her as a legend, it was Rose Nyland on The Golden Girls. The dim-witted yet lovable Rose was a stark contrast to Sue Ann, proving Betty's versatility as an actress. The show was a massive success, earning her another Emmy and endearing her to a whole new generation of fans. Betty was originally offered the role of Blanche on The Golden Girls, but fearing it was too similar to Sue Ann Nivens, she suggested swapping roles with Rue McClanahan, one of the best casting decisions in television history. While many actors slow down with age, Betty White did the opposite. The 2000s saw a career resurgence, fueled in part by her lovable and sassy personality. Whether it was stealing scenes in The Proposal with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds, or hosting Saturday Night Live in 2010 after a massive fan campaign, Betty White proved she was still a force to be reckoned with. Her SNL appearance made her the oldest person ever to host the show at age 88, and it earned her yet another Emmy. Soon after, she landed a starring role in the hit sitcom Hot in Cleveland, proving that even in her late 80s, she could still headline a show and make audiences laugh. Betty White was the oldest person to ever win a daytime Emmy, receiving the award for Outstanding Performer in an animated program for her voice in The Lorax at age 90. Betty White wasn't just a beloved entertainer. She was a passionate advocate for animal rights. A lifelong animal lover, she worked with organizations like the Morris Animal Foundation and the Los Angeles Zoo, dedicating time and resources to wildlife conservation. She also broke barriers for women in entertainment, proving that age was just a number and that talent, charisma, and kindness could make a lasting impact. Her longevity and influence inspired multiple generations of actors, comedian, and television creatives. Betty White was offered a role in As Good as It Gets in 1997, but turned it down because of a scene that depicted animal cruelty. Her love for animals always came first. On December 31st, 2021, just weeks before her 100th birthday, Betty White passed away peacefully in her sleep. The world mourned, but her legacy remains immortal. Tributes poured in from fans, fellow actors, and even the White House, celebrating her incredible life and contributions to entertainment and charity. Her final gift to fans was her upcoming 100th birthday celebration. which had been planned as a nationwide event. Though she didn't quite make it to the milestone, her career and impact will live on for generations. So whether you're rewatching The Golden Girls, laughing at her SNL skits, or supporting an animal charity in her honor, remember, Betty White wasn't just an actress, she was a national treasure. That's it for today's episode of the Life and Times of podcast. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the life and times of Betty White, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share with a friend. And if there's anyone else you'd like us to cover, drop that in a comment too. Until next time, keep celebrating the legends who make the world a brighter place.